Hi, everybody. Captain Lou here with another extravagant few minutes live here on 12 Ounce Sports. And of course, our Facebook page, which is the Captain Lou Extravaganza. We invite you to be a follower of that. You can get all of our shows, our extravagant few minutes, our Captain Lou Extravaganzas, everything on the Captain Lou Extravaganza Facebook page. And we also invite you to subscribe to our 12 Ounce Sports YouTube channel, where you get all the 12 Ounce Sports programming right there on 12 Ounce Sports on our YouTube channel. All right, hey, it's a Game 7 weekend. We talked about it yesterday. Day one of Game 7s included two games involving Denver teams. First time that's happened in 23 years. The Denver Nuggets started it off with a game against the Clippers, a winner-take-all scenario, the right to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder in the semifinals, and it was all Denver. They ran away from the Clippers 120 to 101. James Harden again disappeared, only 7 points, as he always does in Game 7 scenarios, this time for the Clippers. But for the Nuggets, they had 6 players in double figures. Aaron Gordon led the way with 23 points. Jokic had 16 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists. The Nuggets advance as they'll take on the Oklahoma City Thunder in Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals. The other Game 7 last night involving a Denver team, the Colorado Avalanche. They traveled down to Dallas to take on the Stars, and they jumped out to a 2-0 lead. 30 seconds into the third period, it looked like the Colorado Avalanche had it all going their way as they looked to advance to take on the winner of Winnipeg and St. Louis. But the Dallas Stars and Mikko Rantanen said, not so fast. 4 unanswered goals in the third period, 3 by Rantanen. He also had a helper on the fourth goal. One of those goals, an empty netter. But the Dallas Stars shocked the Colorado Avalanche in the third period with those 4 goals. They advance to take on the winner of Winnipeg and St. Louis. For head coach Peter DeBoer, he is now 9-0 in Game 7 scenarios in Stanley Cup playoff history. So congratulations to the Dallas Stars. Tonight in Game 7, it's going to be the Houston Rockets taking on the oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank. The Houston Rockets taking on the Golden State Warriors in Game 7. The Warriors jumped out to a 3-1 lead in this series. They've lost the next 2, and now it's a road game scenario for the Warriors. We'll see if they can bounce back. And for the Houston Rockets playing on house money, here's a chance for them to advance to take on the Minnesota Timberwolves in the conference semifinals. So let's take a look at the scenarios right now in the Western Conference. They've got a semifinal Game 1 set up tonight to start off in the Eastern Conference. It's going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers hosting the Pacers, the Indiana Pacers in Game 1. The other semifinal is set. It's going to be the New York Knicks traveling to Boston tomorrow to take on the Celtics in Game 1. The Thunder and the Nuggets, again, they will start their semifinal series tomorrow night. The Minnesota Timberwolves, who ran past the LA Lakers, thumped the Lakers, they're going to take on the winner, as I said, of Game 7 tonight between the Rockets and the Warriors. In the other Game 7 matchup, we talked about it tonight. It's going to be a monster matchup up in Winnipeg. This is the 200th Game 7 in NHL Stanley Cup history, and it's ironically enough going to be the first time the Winnipeg Jets will host a Game 7 in Stanley Cup playoff history as they're going to take on the St. Louis Blues. Man, it's going to be a whiteout up in Winnipeg. That is going to be such a raucous crowd. Can't wait for that one. 7 o'clock Eastern time. The Winnipeg Jets and the St. Louis Blues. Each team has won all of their home games. So if it holds true, the Winnipeg Jets will have the edge. But we'll see. It's a Game 7. You never know what's going to happen. Connor Hellebuck, Jordan Bennington, that's your goaltending matchup. The winner of that will take on the Dallas Stars in the next round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So that's going to be one heck of a matchup there. All right, let's go now to Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball standings here in the month of May. First weekend in May, let's take a look at it. In the American League, the Seattle Mariners, the hottest team in the American League. They're on top of the American League West with a record of 20-12. They've got a 3-game lead over the Houston Astros, who are at 17-15. Also, a 3-game lead over the Athletics, the Sacramento Athletics, the soon-to-be Las Vegas Athletics, whatever you want to call them. They're at 18-16, 3 games back. In the American League Central, the Detroit Tigers, they're still on top. They're 8 games over 500 as well. Percentage points behind the Seattle Mariners for the best record in the American League. They've got a 1.5 game lead over the Cleveland Guardians and a 3-game lead over the Kansas City Royals. The Guardians at 19-14. They've got the best record. They've got the same record, rather, as the American League East leading New York Yankees, who are at 19-14. They lost last night. They've got a 2-game lead over the Boston Red Sox. In the National League, the Dodgers, they've got the best record in all of Major League Baseball. They've got a 23-10 record. They're on a 7-game heater right now. They've got a 1.5 game lead over the San Diego Padres, who are 21-11. And the San Francisco Giants, they've got a 2.5 game lead over them, as they have 21 wins as well, 21-13. In the American League, or the National League Central, the Chicago Cubs, they've got a 3-game lead over the Cincinnati Reds. The Cubs with a 21-13 record. And in the National League East, it's the New York Mets. They're on top with a 22-11 record. They've got a 3-game lead over the Philadelphia Phillies, who are at 19-14. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have Today in Sports History and more right here on An Extravagant Few Minutes here on 12 Ounce Sports. Hi, everybody. Welcome back again to An Extravagant Few Minutes right here on 12 Ounce Sports, and, of course, live on our Facebook page, the Captain Lou Extravaganza Facebook page. All right, let's take a look at this week in sports history with an extravagant look at sports history, May the 4th. In 2018, Albert Pujols collected his 3,000th hit in a 5-0 win over the Seattle Mariners. In 1968, the Pittsburgh Pipers, they won the 7th game against the New Orleans Buccaneers to win the inaugural ABA World Championship. In 1990, Greg Olson recorded his 41st consecutive scoreless inning, a record that now belongs to Orel Hershiser, who pitched 59 consecutive scoreless innings. In 2000, Don Shula, the winningest coach in NFL history, passed away. In 1965, Willie Mays set the National League home run record with his 512th home run with a win over the Dodgers. That, of course, broke Mel Ott's 29-year record as the National League all-time home run leader. And in 1929, Lou Gehrig, he hit 3 home runs in an 11-9 win over the Detroit Tigers. Birthdays today, Rory McIlroy. He turns 36, of course, the latest Masters winner. Happy birthday to Rory. Don Staley, South Carolina women's basketball coach, 6-time WNBA All-Star. She turns 55. And Bob Tway, PGA golfer, is 66. And speaking of golf, Renee Powell, the first woman to ever play in a men's PGA tournament, she turns 79. All right, that's going to do it for another edition of a Captain Lou Extravagant Few Minutes, struggling here on May the 4th. We hope you have a great Sunday. And again, join us again tomorrow for another look at Today in Sports History and everything else that's going on in the world of sports. Thanks for letting us come into your homes, on your computers, your laptops, however you watch us around the world here on the Extravagant Few Minutes and 12 Ounce Sports. Captain Lou saying keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving, and as always, keep your minds open. So long, everybody.